What's going on, everyone? John here with EDM Prod, and today I'm going to take you on a deep dive into the Spectral oscillator in Serum 2. The way the Spectral oscillator generates sound is it analyzes the frequency content of a sample, breaking it down into its individual parts and partials, and it allows you to manipulate this frequency spectrum. It's really cool, and it's a very unique sound. You can alter certain frequency bands, remove harmonics, spectrally shift parts of the sound, filter it down. There's a lot to dive into, so let's just jump on in. When you load Serum, it should by default look something like this. In order to access the Spectral oscillator, you go up here and click where it says Wavetable, and then go down to Spectral. Now, at this point, you're not going to hear any sound. I'm playing on my keyboard and I'm not getting anything out of it because you need to load a sample up first. This is what it's going to use to generate the sounds. By clicking up in this blank drop down, you can get access to a bunch of factory sounds, some non-tonal ones, and you can also load wavetables, which is pretty cool as well. And you can load your own samples in as well. We'll get to that. For now, let's just start with some tonal sound. Maybe I'll load up something like a voice. Now this is what you get. And what you're actually looking at here is the frequency distribution of the sample. We have the low pitches here and the high pitches here. And you see how we have these kind of like brighter green lines running across. This is showing you the harmonics or the partials of a sound. If I play it, it sounds like this. Almost exactly what this sound would sound like if you just dropped it onto an audio track in Ableton. But once you start playing around with it, we start getting some really interesting effects. Let's just start down here at the bottom, and I'm going to take you on a walkthrough of what all these knobs do. Here we have the scan knob. And what the scan knob does is it adjusts the rate which this playback head moves through the sample. Currently it's set to 100%, which means it's going to be moving through at the normal standard rate. But if I lower scan, then it's going to start slowing down that playback head. It's going to keep the pitch the same, but it's going to give a weird spectral type effect. We can start to hear a almost grainy sort of effect. And you can also turn it down to the negative and it will play backwards. It goes all the way up to 200% to play twice as fast. Let's put this right back down to somewhere around 50%. That's the basics of the scan knob. Moving over to the right here, we have the filter section. This is a spectral filter. If we click it, we're presented with an editor. You can click around in here and create your own spectral filter, and you can see exactly what's happening as I'm doing this up in the display. We are filtering out different parts of the frequency spectrum. Here, I've cut this one really big fundamental harmonic out of the sound. If I were to bring this back up again, we'd be able to hear that better. If I create a filter that's sort of like this, then we've got somewhat of a high pass almost, where the top end is being boosted. I can create a bunch of other little jagged bits in here like that, boosting and cutting certain harmonics, and you can hover over these lines and create exponential or logarithmic curves. Once you have a filter you like, you can go ahead and move this cutoff knob around. This is going to adjust the shape across the frequency spectrum like a normal filter cutoff would do. You can see the shape of the filter moving through this spectrum here. And if you were to throw something like white noise in there, it might actually be easier to see. Let me try and do that. I'm going to go ahead and find a noise sample. Here's a sample I took from a Korg MS-20. All I have to do is drag it out of my browser and drop it in here. And now we have the white noise type sample. And moving the cutoff around, we can start to see these different bands that I've created. So this little area here corresponds to this bottom chunk. If I make another notch in it, like that, we can see that I'm cutting out another chunk of the frequency there. Even with white noise, you get almost interesting tonal sounds out of it. So let's just switch back over to this vocal sound that we had before. You can also click this little folder icon and open up some filter presets. And then to the right, you have this mix knob where you can adjust how much of this filter you're applying to the sample. Let's go ahead and return this to default, which is no filtering, and click the X to close the filter window. Over here to the right, we have a pan knob. This is just your normal pan that you see on any of the other oscillators along with the level knob right here. And down here at the bottom, we also have warp modes like you do over on the normal oscillators, the wavetable oscillators, I should say. But when you click, you'll see that there's actually a new menu here, a new option. We have a spectral section. And this allows you to do spectral specific warp processing. I'm not going to go over what all of these do, but I will show you a few of my favorites here. We've got this peak follow, which sort of just seems to allow only the loudest parts of the sample through. By turning this knob up, we're cutting out all of the quieter sounds, leaving only the loudest harmonics. I also really love gate. Now, gate will do a similar thing, where it's cutting out a lot of the lower parts of the spectrum. We have some comb filter effects in here, which is, as you might think, applying a comb filter type effect to this sound. Set this back to off, and let's move to this middle bar right here. So here is where we can set this up to act as a loop. Right now it's currently in one-shot mode, which means the sample just plays through in one shot. When it reaches the end of the sample, it's done playing. But we can also set it as a forward loop. Once we do that, this little blue box appears. This is going to be your loop length. Let's go ahead and put this loop right here, and I'm going to click and drag the sample playback start, which is this yellow vertical line right here. And I'm going to have it set to right before the loop. When I click play, it'll start playback from here. And then once it gets into the blue section, it'll start looping. I really find the Spectral oscillators great for making lush, beautiful sounding pads. This is just a dry sample right now. If you add a little reverb to it, you're done. That's it. It's gorgeous. And then we have reverse loop, which just like forward loop, it's going to loop in one direction, but that direction is from the end of the loop forward. So it'll play forward into this loop section, and once it reaches the end, it'll move backwards through it and continue the loop starting from the back end of it. Like so. Then we have forward reverse, meaning that it will go forward, then back, then forward, then back. It's like a ping pong mode in a way. And then we have tailed. So tailed requires some explanation, and I switched to a shorter sample to talk about it. What tailed will do is it will loop the last half of the sample until the release time is finished. So I increased my release time and my amplitude envelope a little bit. If I just press a key and hold it down, it'll play from the start, or at least where I have my sample start set. And then when it gets to the end, it'll start doing a ping pong or forward reverse loop over the last half of the sample. Next we have manual mode. You'll see once I switch to manual mode, the scan knob turned into a position knob. This allows you to manually adjust where the sample is being played back from. Set this pan back to 0 and find a more fun sample. Maybe something like a cool synth sound. That is pretty gnarly. I'm going to switch it off of manual, go back to a forward loop mode, and drag my loop back over here. Now, if I set relative loop, what this will do is it will keep a relative distance between where the loop is and where the sample start marker is. So if I move the sample start marker around, then it's going to move around the loop. This is great if you're going to automate where the sample start is. See, if I turn off relative loop, now I can move this around and the loop length stays the exact same. I can also link the loop length. So when I adjust, and that basically just means that if I were to try to adjust the start part of the loop, it will keep the same loop length. I can still adjust the back part of it, but every time I try and adjust the starting part, it's going to keep the same distance. Then we have exit loop on release. Now what this means is, and this will be easier to see if I turn the release time up as well. This just means that when I hold a note down, it'll loop until I let go of that note on my MIDI keyboard, in which case it will then exit the loop and continue to play out the rest of the sample. So those are all the loop options right there. We also have a crossfade that I didn't really mention before. The crossfade will kind of create a smooth fade between the loop. It's actually not very smooth on this particular sample, but you can see what's happening is it's sort of fading the end of the loop with the beginning of it. It should be creating a bit of smoothness there, but it's not really working here. Maybe with a forward reverse, that'd be a little better. Yeah, it's a lot nicer using the forward reverse mode. Let's go back over to one shot, set this to its full length. And one thing I didn't mention earlier is you can also adjust where the sample ends, just the same way as where the sample were to start playback at. We also have a unison option on here, which is similar to how the wavetables and the other oscillators have unison. Creates duplicates of the voices depending on the number you have here. And then when you click this little cog right here, you can adjust the unison width, the range, the span, blend, things like that. Normally, those are all options we have right here, like the blend of the detune, but we don't have, I guess, the room for it here. So those options are nestled here under detune and blend, right like that. And then you have your normal linear, super, exponential, inverted, random. It's kind of outside the scope of what we're talking about with a particular spectral oscillator. Maybe worth a video on its own. But, just go ahead and check out a video on Unison detunes, maybe from the EDM Prod channel if I decide to make one. Let's click this cog to close Unison down and turn Unison back off again. One of my favorite features of this spectral oscillator is this bar over here on the side. And this acts as like a hard cut brick wall filter for the spectrum. If I grab the bottom part of it, I can raise it up and just cut out anything below that part of the frequency spectrum. Same with the top section as well, just to kind of create a little narrow band. Right around the area of the frequency that you want to be heard. There's a few somewhat hidden features of this oscillator that I'd like to get into. If you right-click the scan knob, then you get a few other options. We also have this reverse option here, which is essentially an inversion. So if I turn this down to negative, it's now going to play from the start. If I go over to the positive, it plays from the end. You can also key track this, meaning if I were to play a lower note on my keyboard, it will scan more slowly and a higher note will scan more quickly. So I'll play the extremes of my MIDI keyboard here. Like that. That can help to get a more natural sound since usually higher tones decay more quickly in acoustic instruments. Here you can adjust the range. You can make it go all the way up to 800% if you'd like to go really fast through it. I'll put that back to 200. You can choose to phase lock it. It's a bit difficult to explain what phase locking does, but really what it does is it adjusts the phases of the FFT, which stands for Fast Fourier transform, which is essentially just an algorithm that converts a signal from the time domain into the frequency domain. Don't worry about that. It's not necessary for you to really know that. What's more important for you to know is what this can do is create a less smeared sound, which is a little bit more like the original sample. So by turning on phase lock and by turning the scan rate down, we can hear the difference in the sound. I'll start with the phase lock off. And now I'll turn phase lock on. It's got a rougher tone to it in a way. So this is basically keeping it from smearing the sound. Really just depends on what you want. I think it's cool to play around with both options and see what sounds best to you depending on the sound source you're using. We also have this transient option. Now this is really cool. I use this when I am processing drum samples through the Spectral oscillator. So I'm just going to find a break sample and I'm going to use one out of the EDM Prod sample packs. And actually, if you take a look here, all of these sample packs you see here are available for free on the EDM Prod website. We got a link to that in the description of this video. Go ahead and check that out. Definitely worth grabbing. I use them in my projects a lot. Let's grab a break out of here, maybe out of the starter kit. Okay, stick breaking. Interesting. Not quite what I wanted. I want a drum loop. Yeah, let's grab one of these top loops from the D&P kit. Let's grab one of these top loops from the D&B kit and turn the scan time back up to almost 100. It's currently a bit washy, but if we turn on the transients option, we should get the attack of each drum coming through a bit more cleanly. Like that. So if you're finding going this deep on this oscillator really interesting, then I highly recommend you check out the new Serum 2 course that we're putting out with EDM Prod. It's going to be coming out later this year, and it may already be out depending on when you're watching this video. So go ahead and check the description. If it's out, there'll be a link to it down there. If not, then you can just keep your eyes peeled for that. It'll turn you into a Serum 2 Pro. It's a complete deep dive into every corner of this synth. Packed full of knowledge. There's not a course out there like it. Hope you found this video informative. If you did, be sure to like it and subscribe for future tutorials, and I'll see you in the next one.